The Denver Nuggets finally have a grasp of the number one seed in the Western Conference, a game up of the OKC Thunder. They also get a win 128-103 versus the Memphis Grizzlies, and a great game without Jamal Murray, without Aaron Gordon, and Zeke Naji still able to get the job done. Another great Nikola Jokic game where he might be absolutely closing in on his third MVP. And Christian Braun, he's ascending at just the right time of the year. Let's talk about all that and more here at Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. Thank y'all so much for being here. The Denver Nuggets are absolutely rolling. And y'all, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code all lowercase LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Y'all. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, shout out to everybody, shout out to everybody in the chat, shout out to everybody in the chat, shout out to everybody that's in the building already. The Denver Nuggets are officially the number one seed in the Western Conference, despite Jamal Murray missing about 20 games this year, despite the fact they were coming off the longest season in franchise history, winning their first NBA title. And the Denver Nuggets, despite all that, they're cruising. Despite all that, they're moving up. Despite all that, they making it happen. Despite all that, the Denver Nuggets are playing their best basketball of the season right on time. And y'all, they are absolutely cooking, absolutely flamboyant. They are doing everything that everybody could have asked for them after the All-Star break. Y'all, let's lock in. The Denver Nuggets are 15-2. 15-2 since the All-Star break, y'all. They're 15-2 since the All-Star break and absolutely been taking apart the competition. Now, they haven't had a whole lot of blowout wins, but what they have had are a lot of very convincing wins so far this year. Y'all, the Denver Nuggets are 15-2. They've won their last four games. And they took hold of the top of the Western Conference. They're sitting at 51-21 on the year. 51-21 on the year. And the Nuggets, for the second straight season, they're the first team in the Western Conference to get over 50 wins. And it's making, oh man, this is just, the Nuggets they're just in a place right now where it's not everything is going perfect, because it's not. But they're in a place right now where they just look like a team that's about its business. They're about their business. They're taking care of business, and they just look like a well-oiled machine, even without Aaron Gordon. Even the other day, with no Jamal Murray, no Nikola Jokic versus the Portland Trailblazers, still get the job done. Aaron Gordon put up a great double-double. Michael Porter Jr. comes on late. Reggie Jackson, 23 points and 5 assists. And then you get this game. You get this game versus the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Denver Nuggets. You know, if they didn't take care of their business, this easily could have been a game where it would have been a letdown spot, even though Nikola Jokic comes back and he plays in this game. But for him to be able to put up the necessary pressure on the Memphis Grizzlies to go off on this game, really, it just shows how good and how special things are right now for the Denver Nuggets. And they win 128-103, y'all. Nikola Jokic, 31 minutes played last night, 29 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. He shot 11 of 18 from the field. He shot 1 of 2 from 3, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. He had 1 block. He had 3 steals. He was a plus 13 yesterday. It was a great game. And Joker started the game off very aggressive yesterday. Now, some of this was just the way the game flow was going. You know, he had Jaren Jackson Jr. starting the game on him, and so he took advantage of a lot of great matchups. Jokic had 17 points in the first quarter. He had 17 points, I believe, in the first quarter. He had about 4 rebounds, 3 assists, had a steal. He was 5 of 7 from the field and 6 of 6 from the free throw line, or 6 of 7, or 5 of 6 from the free throw line in the first quarter. He was a plus 15. I mean, really just truly a dominant game for him. And I think a lot of what the Nuggets are doing right now in the place they're sitting, they're just playing like a team that is just very confident in what it's supposed to be doing. and the overall objective of the season. Everybody's just going in the same direction. And I think if I had to classify why things are going so well for the Nuggets, that's what it is. It's everybody on the team is headed in the same direction. Everybody's headed in the same direction. And you see the effort that they were giving. There was the sequence yesterday where Peyton Watson gets a rebound. He passes it up ahead, gets the ball to Julian Strawther. Julian Strawther misses it. Peyton Watson saves the ball from going out of bounds. Julian Strawther grabs the ball, throws to Colin Gillespie, and then he throws the alley-oop to Peyton Watson. And you just see the effort from the team is there. Everybody is just buying into where they are and saying that, hey, we want to take care of our business. We want to make sure that we're doing what we can do to win these games, that we're not beating ourselves. And it's just allowing for so many great opportunities for the Nuggets on the course of the season. And you saw yesterday's game, just dominance. Michael Porter Jr. yesterday, we're going to talk about Nikola Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. a little bit later. 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists, 4 of 7 from the field, but 3 of 4 from 3. Yeah, Jokic played 3 quarters yesterday. Michael Porter Jr. played 3 quarters. He just played 22 minutes. He had 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Super efficient, 3 of 4 from 3 with a steal. He was a +5 in the minutes that he played yesterday. And, Porter, had 12 points on lower efficiency versus the Portland Trailblazers, but there was no Jokic. But what I love watching about Porter and Jokic is that they just have a level of trust that exists on the court. They have a level of trust that exists between that allows for them to really just take advantage of so many different matchup variations, and just really, really special what we're getting a chance to see from him. And then Reggie Jackson yesterday had 15 points, had 8 assists, 1 rebound. He was 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. Great shooting game, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. And Reggie Jackson was a game high +21 yesterday, or starter high game. He was a +21 yesterday. And this is back-to-back games. Reggie Jackson, back-to-back starting games, 23 points, 5 assists, and 15 points and 8 assists, and efficient. So this is the kind of Reggie Jackson that the Nuggets are looking for, is that when they're in a situation where they don't have Jamal Murray, but they're in a situation where they're able to trust Reggie Jackson to do his job and to hit the shots that he needs to hit and to play team basketball, it just really allows for the Nuggets to just continue to do really, really special things on the year. And so the Nuggets, man, they're just in a really confident place, man. And Reggie Jackson played really well yesterday. KCP, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 of 6 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, had a steal, and he was a +15 in yesterday's game as well. KCP continuing to put up some, dare I say, some first-team All-NBA level performances since the All-Star break. He has one of the most difficult jobs in the NBA. He is the Nuggets' primary POA stopper, primary ball stopper, and the things he's asked to do on a nightly basis. Desmond Bane yesterday. Desmond Bane is the best player on the perimeter for them yesterday. 6 of 14, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. -23 for Desmond Bane. And KCP has a lot of reasons, a big part of the reason why the Nuggets are able to take advantage of those matchups and get the job done. But just a great game from him. Christian Braun, just something to tap into a little bit later. 17 points for Christian Braun. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 of 10 from the field, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. Just an incredible game from Christian, who continues to stack good performances together, and you can just feel his confidence continuing to grow. I think the thing about Christian is when you're going into your sophomore year, they won a championship last year. He was the 8th man in the rotation, and for him to solidify himself in this roster, he needed to pick up some quirks. And so being able to play, make a little bit more, ball handle a little bit more, create for himself a little bit more, and create for others a little bit more. And he's really had an up and down season learning how to do that. But the great thing about what Christian is doing is that he's finding ways to be involved, and you see his game expanding. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more as well. But I really love what I'm seeing from him. And then Julian Strawther, first game back, basically, y'all. Like, he hasn't played in a while. 22 minutes for Julian Strawther, 14 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist, 5 of 11 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. But he was a +12 in his minutes. And then you got Justin Holiday, 22 minutes played, 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, 4 of 6 from the field, man. 3 of 4 from 3. And Justin Holiday just continues to prove his worth. A +22 in yesterday's game. And then Peyton Watson, 10 points, 9 rebounds. I took a rebound away per Bleacher Report. 2 assists, 4 of 9 from the field. He was 2 of 2 from the free throw line, had 3 blocks. I'm talking about crazy DPOY level plays with a steal, and he was also a plus 22. Justin Holiday and Peyton Watson led the Denver Nuggets in plus minus yesterday. But y'all, when we come back, we're going to talk about Christian Braun and what this ascension from him means, how this could really do well for the Denver Nuggets going forward. We're going to talk about all that and more here at Locked On Nuggets. So y'all, PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. The easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more or less than on a 2 to 6 player stat projection and watch the winnings roll in. It's demon time on PrizePicks. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Demons and Goblins are the newest and most exciting way to play at PrizePicks. Squares marked with red demons or green goblins get you different payouts. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. And then all you got to do is players and stat types you're selecting. You highlight your winnings from PrizePicks and how fun and simple the experience is while playing the game. This is a great opportunity. Steph Curry for 29 points, Nikola Jokic for 10 rebounds, Anthony Davis for more than 2 blocks, Dame for more than 4 3-pointers, Kevin Durant, 28 points. And then I think Luka Doncic, playmaking's been out of saying 7+ assists. So what you do, you just go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. We'll be right back here for more Locked On Nuggets. What's going on, yo? Well, we are back for Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper, your team every day. Thank y'all so much for being here with us. If you're listening to us on the audio side, hopefully you're enjoying the new microphone, by the way. If you're listening on the audio side, make sure on Apple iTunes you give us a 5-star review. That way we can get more and more people listening to the great content here at Locked On Nuggets. But we're in a situation right now where the Nuggets are continuing to cook. They're continuing to make their way through the Western Conference. And y'all, one of the big reasons why is this new accelerated play from Christian Braun. Christian Braun has found something, and it's really made a big difference for the Denver Nuggets on the season because there's just a level of versatility that he brings to the Nuggets as a defender. Everybody knows that. But offensively, he's just been playing a lot better. Y'all, the last 5 games for Christian Braun, 10 points a game, 4.2 rebounds, 2 assists, half a steal a game. He's shooting 58% from the field, 50% from 3, with a 63.6% true shooting, y'all. That's incredible. And that's really important. Christian Braun, back-to-back 17-point games. He had a 10-point game versus the Dallas Mavericks in a loss. But one of the great things that's happening for Christian right now is that he is just getting more and more confident in what his job is supposed to be and the ask of him. I mean, y'all remember the San Antonio Spurs game, Christian Braun had a hezzy tween step-back 3-pointer that he hit in isolation. This last game that we just saw versus the Memphis Grizzlies, Christian Braun gets the ball at the right wing. He steps and dribbles towards the nail, step back, hits the mid-range shot, and he's also been cooking in transition. And what I love about what Christian does, because he's such a dominant athlete, when he goes to the rim, it is not anything light. It's not anything easy. He wants to finish over you. And he has a lot of dexterity with using his hands, and his ability to be able to rise above defenders is one of his best skill set. And I think Christian, man, you know, Michael Malone already talked about this. The playoff locks for him right now, and I think some of this is motivation for Peyton Watson. He said it was Reggie Jackson and Christian Braun. Christian Braun helped them win a championship last year. Reggie Jackson's obviously their backup point guard behind Jamal Murray. But what Christian is growing into is a dual-faceted player that is able to take some of the offensive pressure off of Jamal in that second unit. But also when he's out there with Jokic, he's able to do a little bit more than just cut off ball actions and to be a spot-up shooter. I mean, again, he's shooting well. He's shooting well. In the month of March, Christian Braun is shooting 50% from 3, and he's shooting 63.6% from the field as a whole, and he's averaging 8.7 points per game. He's averaging 8.7 points a game. He's averaging 4 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and less than a turnover a game. And then, like I said, shooting 56% from the free throw line, but 50% from the field and 63% from three. That's amazing. And you're getting that off of a dude that's your 7th or 8th man. That makes a big difference for what the Nuggets are looking for. And I think that if his confidence continues to grow and he's able to continue to find ways to operate at a high volume, whether it be in transition, whether it be as a little bit of a shot creator, just a little bit of a shot creator, but even cutting and finishing and rebounding, I mean, that just kind of takes the Denver Nuggets ceiling up to another level. It really does. And I think if you're able to trust him coming off the bench, giving him some ball handling responsibilities, I think that means a lot. So Christian Braun's playing really well. Everybody knows Michael Porter Jr. has been excellent as of late. I think for him, he's really figured out a lot of different things happening. Obviously, this whole situation with Jonte Porter, if you didn't know, Jonte Porter is currently being investigated by the NBA. There's possibility that he could have been tied in some illegal betting, gambling opportunities that has to do with his gameplay. There were a couple games that were flagged because the under was taken by a good amount of people, more than enough, where people were speculating on the NBA side that he possibly was doing something to throw his own performances by claiming an injury and then not finishing those games. Therefore, people were accumulating money on their bets. So, we'll find out. Obviously, you hope for the best. You don't want that to be the case. The Porter family's already been through enough. But I think obviously we're going to be waiting and listening to find out more from the NBA. But on Michael Porter's end, man, he just has been in a little bit of a groove. He didn't have the prettiest game versus the Portland Trailblazers when there was no Jokic. But I think what Porter's been able to do is when Jokic and him are on the court, they're just like one of the most effective duos in the league, and especially one of the most effective high-volume duos in the league. Last 16 games he's played, he's averaging 19.8 points per game. 19.8 points per game. And if you look at the last 17 in total since the All-Star break, he's averaging 20, 7.2 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 56% from the field, 44% from three, 89.7% from the free throw line, and a plus 131 in those minutes. And what I love about it is you look at the two-man lineup data from the Denver Nuggets. If you look at the Denver Nuggets in particular, the Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr. minutes, they have played the second most minutes of any pairing for the Denver Nuggets. KCP and Michael Porter and Nikola Jokic, they lead in total minutes played as a duo. But in 1,867 minutes, Porter and Jokic in 68 games played, y'all, a plus 10.7 net rating. A plus 10.7 net rating, y'all. That is incredible. And it just speaks to their consistency, their continuity, their communication, and their trust, because that doesn't happen on accident. It doesn't happen on accident. You have to choose to play together in order to get to that point. And I think you just look at what they're able to do right now, man. They're just one of the most dynamic duos in the NBA right now. And they just trust each other more than almost anybody. Y'all, and if you look league-wide, and then you filter out minutes for teams that have had at least 1,000 minutes played, I mean, they're one of the best duos in the NBA, period. Right now, the best duo in the NBA of 1,000-plus minutes played is going to be Kristaps Porzingis and Derek White. They have 1,134 minutes played together. They have a plus 16.1 net rating. But do you know who's number two? It's Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. In 53 games played together and 1,292 minutes played together, they have a plus 14.3 net rating on the season, which, given the fact that those are two superstar, so that's a superstar next to a star guard, that for me is more impressive than the Derek White Porzingis, because those are tertiary players and obviously surrounding Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are also really good in 60 games played. They're a plus 13.2. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's here with J-Dub. They're also in the top 10. They're a plus 12.4. KCP and Jamal Murray are in the top 15. They're a plus 12.2. But like I said, man, like for Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic to be a plus 10.7, where you're just able to plug them in next to each other and they complement each other to this degree, it really just allows for the Nuggets to have so much lineup versatility. So now you can think in a playoff setting where, okay, Jokic, Porter, Peyton, Christian, Reggie. And that way, when you give an opportunity for Jamal Murray, it's Jamal Murray, KCP, next to Gordon, with whatever roster you want to put around them with the role players and with the bench players. That just, I think, gives the Nuggets a lot more versatility, y'all. So, y'all, when we come back, we're going to talk about their current standing in the Western Conference, what the Denver Nuggets need to do to maintain that. Is there any threat that they could possibly drop from that? But also, too, like the Nuggets have 4 more games at home, and they're going to be good teams they're playing against. But the Nuggets are kind of on such a groove right now, man, that it might not matter all that much who comes into Denver. And obviously, we got the Suns game, the Timberwolves game, and the Cleveland game coming up. So, y'all, we'll be right back here at Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, sometimes, when you're going through things and you have things that are happening in your life, we all need the opportunity to be able to talk through them. It's tax season for all of us. Some of us are looking to buy homes. There might be relationships that are ending, relationships that are beginning. And those of us are looking for love, or you're looking for a new career, or you're trying to find a way to make more money because the market is crazy. Inflation is really high. It's really important to be able to talk through things and to listen to somebody and have somebody speak to you who's unbiased in your life. So today I want to say how I really feel about something. You might even be thinking about the same thing this week. And no, for me, I'm trying to find out ways to manage all the stuff that I'm doing now. Obviously, this great thing we're doing here with Locked On Nuggets and Swipe a Gang and everything else. But then, have this career that I'm balancing and like these opportunities and like, where do you go and how do you make the best decisions? And therapy would be helpful just in terms of processing through how I'm feeling, how to schedule my time, but also how to make sure I'm having positive thoughts about myself so I can keep going. Therapy can be different for everyone, though. And most of us have bigger problems in our favorite sports team, and it's important to get things off your chest every once in a while. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be flexible and suited to your schedule. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. And we will be right back here at Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, we back here at Locked On Nugget. This is your host, Swiper. Thank y'all so much for being here. If you're on the YouTube side, go ahead, give us a like, share, and subscribe as we're continuing to build up one of the best basketball communities on YouTube. Y'all, the Denver Nuggets, man, you're talking about a team that's been cooking. Did y'all know? Would you happen to know that the Denver Nuggets have the best record in the NBA since the All-Star break? Interesting. I told folks, some of y'all might listen to me a little bit. I said, I don't think the Denver Nuggets or Nikola Jokic are going to be able to take their foot off the gas because it looks like the NBA is a little too good to do that. And I think some people were concerned, like, well, they did it last year. They're not necessarily going to try to gun for the number 1 seed, which is true. I mean, they've sat starters in back-to-back games. But, what if they just don't try to play up to a certain level over the course of a regular season? But I think the thing is the Nuggets lost 3 games going into the All-Star break. It's not like they just were cooking. And I think the Nuggets coming out of the All-Star break, they knew that in order to get where they needed to go mentally, they had to start preparing for what's to come. Because you didn't want to just, coast into the playoffs and then never have kind of kick-started your season. Because really the Nuggets have had a couple of really strong, points this year. Like I said, they went 14-4 over a course of games, early in the season. They started the year off really well, like maybe like 9-1 or something like that. I can't remember what their exact record was. Let me go back. So the season started versus the Los Angeles Lakers on Tuesday, October 24th. Yeah, the Nuggets started 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, and then they lost to the Timberwolves 4-1, and then 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's right. That's right. The Denver Nuggets started off the season playing super well. They started off 8-1, and then From there, they also then had a streak after they lost 3 straight games where they played really well, really good basketball, and then they've kind of been teetering up and down. Since that point because they just had different motivational factors over the course of the season. But like I said, y'all, Kevin Durant made a game-tying shot the last time they played the Suns in Denver. And then obviously, Kyrie Irving hits one of the best game winners you're going to see to keep the game from going into overtime in Dallas when the Nuggets were down 13 by the time Jokic came back in the game in the fourth quarter. The Nuggets got down 22 versus the Suns at one point in time in the second quarter. So outside of really some games where they just didn't meet the opposition with the requisite energy necessary, they've been really dominant this year. And, we're in a situation now where the Denver Nuggets are going to have an opportunity to truly, truly be able to show their stuff versus this Phoenix Suns team, versus the Timberwolves team, and versus the Cavs. Now, unfortunately, Nurkic, we'll see if he's able to play tomorrow. He did roll his ankle, look like a little pretty bad. And then obviously versus the Timberwolves, no Karl Anthony Towns. So it's still something to be seen. But if you look at the next stretch of games, Suns tomorrow, they have the Timberwolves on Friday. The Cavaliers are going to be on Sunday. And then Tuesday, they play versus the San Antonio Spurs. And then they go to the Clippers. The Hawks come to Denver. They go to the Jazz. Then they have at home the Timberwolves. And then they end the season with the Spurs in San Antonio and then with Memphis in Memphis. So all of these games are going to be winnable. But I think this next stretch of games at home, if they can really muster the energy, and I think what I'm looking forward to is Jamal Murray. I saw him on the sideline yesterday. He was joking. He was laughing. The Nuggets are just kind of in a good place right now. It doesn't appear that his injury is something that is super substantial, but it was smart of them to say, hey, the next game was on Thursday, the 21st. So they gave Jamal Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. They gave him 5 days off in between games to be able to rest up that ankle. And that way, he doesn't have to think about it or worry about it. And I actually think that's going to be really beneficial for them down the line because, when they get done with this week, maybe Jokic can take a little bit of rest versus the Spurs, or Jokic, Murray, Porter, Gordon, depending on where the seeding is. If they beat the Hawks, they don't have to go to that Jazz game. And then they play the Timberwolves. And then they finish the season versus the Spurs and Grizzlies. So all that put together, they don't have to finish the season rolling out their starters versus a few of these teams if they take care of their business and they win these games. Because if you win now and you set up your schedule now, and then down the stretch of the season, there's 3 away games that are versus the Jazz, Spurs, and Grizzlies, all teams that are not going to be in the playoffs, where if you want an opportunity to just kind of give your players some time off, then you can do it. And so, depending on how important the Timberwolves matchup is too, this is what I'm saying. Listen to this. So if they are able to take care of the Suns, the Timberwolves, the Cavs, okay, and the Spurs, and maybe the Clippers, they end the season with 5 games, the Jazz, the Hawks, the Wolves, Spurs, and Grizzlies, where it's like, look, you can play with your rotations a little bit. And if you just want to make sure they got any, lingering bruises or nicks or whatever, that you're able to give them an opportunity to get some sit down and get some rest. Because they're going to have basically the playoffs are going to start, I want to say like on a Friday or Saturday. So if the regular season ends on a Sunday, you'll have about 4 or 5 days off at the end of the season. And then if you can build in some rest time in between there, you basically can give your players like 10, 11, 12 days off. So this is important, I think. And I'm looking forward to this Phoenix Suns game because this is going to be an opportunity to get a little bit of a revenge versus the Suns team that just lost to the San Antonio Spurs. And if you look at the current standings in the Western Conference, y'all, the Suns are sitting in the play-in. They're a half game out versus the Mavericks right now. They're a half game out. So the Mavericks are the 7th seed. They're tied with the Kings. The Kings had the head-to-head. So the Kings and Mavericks are both on win streak. The Kings have won 2 straight. The Mavs have won 4 straight. And I think this would be a great opportunity for the Nuggets to continue to put their foot on the door a little bit and say, no, you can't come in. We're going to hold you down, and we're going to continue to take care of business. And also, too, like if the Nuggets took that last game more serious in the first half, their defense was abysmal. And I think that's one of the other things for the Nuggets, too. Like they've been great when they've been locked in defensively, when they have decided they're going to start the game out playing good defense. And that for the most of the game, over the course of the game, they're also going to be locked in. But when they're not, you get Grayson Allen 8 3-pointers in the first half and, start off wide open. And the next thing you know, is hitting contested 3-pointers. So this should be a lot of fun, man. The Denver Nuggets 15-2 since the All-Star break. Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, KCP, Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, Reggie Jackson, Zeke Naji, DeAndre Jordan, Justin Holiday, Julian Strother, all of them are contributing to really important wins, y'all. Y'all, that's going to do it here for Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. Make sure you give us a like, share, and a follow on YouTube. Give us a 5-star review on the Apple iTunes side. You know what time it is. Matt Moore, Adam Mates will be with you tomorrow. I'll see you on the other side.